I've gotten PTSD over the last year covering this, watching all the body parts of the children strewn everywhere. These fucking psychopaths declaring that they have no agency, they have no responsibility. Every child they kill is somehow the fault of Hamas. No matter how many bombs they drop, they can fucking shoot a little kid in the back of the head that's running away. Hamas made them do it. It's always Hamas. We're all looking fucking Hamas-y. So anyway, CNN, Israel, and Hamas agreed a 6-week ceasefire. Of course, Israel are liars. Can't trust a goddamn word they say. We'll see. Hamas had told multiple outlets that its delegation has handed its approval of the proposed ceasefire deal to mediators in Qatar and Egypt. Of course, Hamas has been trying to get a ceasefire from the very beginning, really. It's Israel who has balked at it continuously. Israel's starting point is you all have to be eradicated and die and not exist anymore. And Hamas is like, well, that's not a beginning proposition for a ceasefire. That's like if you've destroyed our entire country, then, we'd have to give up. That's a surrender. That's not a ceasefire negotiation, though. So they never really wanted a ceasefire to begin with. They just wanted to eradicate the Palestinian people. A Hamas official said the group's leader, I ain't pronouncing that name, has delivered approval of the ceasefire agreement to mediators in Doha, Al Jazeera, Arabic, and Sky News. BBC is also reporting that a Hamas official said it had told Qatar and Egyptian mediators that Hamas has approved the ceasefire agreement. The deal would involve a 6-week initial ceasefire phase, the gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces, the release of hostages held by Hamas, and the release of Palestinian detainees held by Israel. I love the way they put this, too. Release of hostages held by Hamas and Palestinian detainees. Yeah, they're the hostages, folks. Yeah, I mean, Israel has kidnapped thousands of more hostages than Hamas is. That was part of what kicked this whole thing off. They wanted their hostages back. They're prisoners. They wanted them back. So they took some Israeli ones to try to get them back. I guess they're going to get a few back, though, folks. We'll see. I guess it's going to be 1,000-to-1 trade because they have thousands of more in Israeli prisons under no charges than Hamas has. So hopefully a lot of Palestinians going to get released on this one. But obviously exactly what you expected took place. Both Donald Trump and Joe Biden took to the airwaves to try to take credit for this. First off, Joe Biden out there.
And the Secretary of State. Let's listen.
Good afternoon.
Fuck you.
It's a very good afternoon. Because at long last, I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas.
Literally no thanks from you. You had nothing to fucking do with it, you lying sack of shit. I agree with Emma Vigilante here. This old fool, he's so mentally diminished that he either couldn't process his humiliation at Netanyahu's hands, or his bloodlust was reflexive. Yeah, completely humiliated. This whole thing is a show set up by Netanyahu to give Donald Trump a win. He fucked Biden every step of the goddamn way. And you took it. You took the dick. You didn't fight back at all. You feckless, weak, pathetic, murderous, genocidal zombie just got fucked right to the fucking very end like you deserve. Just humiliation. Of not just himself, but all of America knows no bounds. They got fucking used, folks. It's clear that Blinken, Sullivan, Hochstein, McGurk, etc. have been running things. A rudderless ship manned by a career not set goals. Yes. Biden doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. Or maybe he does. He's just like a true believer, really, to me. In a way that almost makes him more dangerous than Trump, because Trump's more about himself. And if Israel pisses him off or he thinks his ego is going to be hurt, he's more likely to actually maybe stand up to them than Joe Biden, who clearly thinks they're God's chosen people and they can do no wrong and they can murder his own kids right in front of them and it'll still look they're nuts. Craziest shit I ever seen. Anyway, Sam Cedar, as usual, is correct here. Praying that Israel's genocidal assault on Gaza is about to end. Biden never attempted to force Israel to cease over the past 15 months. And that's not what's happening now. Trump has traded U.S. support of annexation of the West Bank for Gaza ceasefire win. The rest is kayfabe, and yes, it is, folks. It's all a show. It's all a play. I mean, to me, I think it's obvious that Israel is the one who came up with this whole plan to continue to murder children longer than they normally would have, but to give their boy Trump a win, the guy they wanted in office. They're trading a very temporary, very public ceasefire so that they can just ethnically cleanse the West Bank and take it over. I don't expect to see this last long. And I'm going to show you at the end, they're not really ceasefiring. All this is just bullshit. But 100%, an amazing win for Trump, I have to say. Biden is out here so desperate to try to take credit for it. He's all over social media. He must have posted 20 times.
Because at long last, I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas. More than 15 months of conflict, more than 15 months of terror.
From you.
For the hostages, their families, the Israeli people. More than 15 months of suffering.
You got to always preface it with the Israeli people. Not the real horrors that have taken place that you caused. The bombs that you dropped. The missiles that you fucking sent. The untold horrors that you caused, genocidal Joe Biden. One of the most evil human beings you will ever witness in your fucking life. Standing before you right now. This goddamn zombie ghoul.
By the innocent people of Gaza.
That you did.
In Gaza will stop, and soon the hostages will return home to their families.
Send the Palestinian hostages home. You never gave a shit about that. And then he put out this. Today, after many months of intensive diplomacy, you didn't do fucking shit. Donald Trump one-upped you. Israel, who wanted him in goddamn office to begin with, stabbed you in the back, stabbed you in your ass. They took the dick out of your ass for 5 seconds and put a knife in it, Joe Biden. Once a fucking again, fucked you. Just degradation knows no bounds for Democrats. And, of course, if you want to know the real scoop on what was going on, here's Brett Murphy, who was a journalist behind the scenes working at the State Department. Here's his take on it. How did the U.S. let Israel get away with widespread horror in Gaza? ? Since October 7, 2023, Biden and Secretary of State Blinken repeatedly drew lines on humanitarian grounds that the Israeli ostensibly couldn't cross. The IDF crossed them anyway. And each time, there were no real consequences. Using leaked documents and interviews, we pieced together scenes from inside the government as diplomats and experts repeatedly tried and failed to change the policy of not holding Israel to account. This is the human rights atrocity of our time, one senior official at State told me. I work for the department that's responsible for this policy. I signed up for this. I don't deserve sympathy for it. In November, State Department human rights leaders met with one of Blinken's top lieutenants and begged the administration to follow through on a threat to cut off arms to Israel for blocking humanitarian access. All year, senior leaders repeatedly disregarded their own experts behind the scenes. They cracked down on leaks by threatening criminal investigations and classifying material that was critical of Israel. Some of the agency's highest-ranking Middle East diplomats complained in private that they were sidelined by Biden's National Security Council. Here's State top Palestinian affairs official on why he's been largely absent from the public eye. They all explain it, folks. Anyway, it goes into great detail, but it's what you already knew. Every step of the way, Joe Biden covered for Israel. Kept them from any kind of accountability. Why he funded it. Why he sent the missiles. Why he murdered the children. And ultimately, that's why he didn't win the presidency again. That's why he lost to Donald Trump. And that is also why Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump. Kamala Harris paid the price for not breaking with Biden on Gaza, new poll shows. What? 29% of non-voters who supported Biden in 2020 said U.S. support for the genocide was the top reason they sat the 2024 election, according to a survey by YouGov. No fucking shit. As I told you guys from the very beginning, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. Both her and Joe Biden would literally rather not be president than stop murdering children. I can't explain it. Still can't explain it. They knew. They knew. Even Kamala knew. She knew from the very fucking beginning. Very well would cost her the goddamn election, but she wouldn't stop murdering the fucking children. She wouldn't stand up against it. So we got Trump again, folks. This is what caused it. The insanity, the cruelty, a country that must collapse. And of course, Trump immediately taken to the airwaves to try to take credit. And this is a big win for Trump, folks. An incredibly beautiful optic for the orange goof. We have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly, thank you. Then he put out another message. The epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I'm thrilled American and Israeli hostages will be returned. He didn't mention the Palestinian hostages because to him, Palestinian is an insult. To be reunited with their families and loved ones. So I wouldn't be surprised on day one when he takes office on the 20th. They parade the hostages out there to give him the greatest optic anybody could ever fucking get. See, I told you before I even became president, I'm causing peace around the world. Joe Biden couldn't do this. I ended it just like that. But here's the crazy part. I bet you that they had negotiations. We knew that Netanyahu was meeting with Trump over the last few months. I would be surprised if Trump was like, hey, hold off on the peace talks, on the ceasefire, and then time it to right the day I get in office. Have the hostages released on that fucking day. And then you guys can do whatever the fuck you want to. You don't have to keep to it. I don't care. Like, obviously, after I get the optics, after I get the good press, after I get to stand in front of the world and brag about it, you guys can do what the fuck you want to. So literally, this man probably negotiated to have more children killed so that he could get up there and claim that he's ending the child murders. We're dealing with like Bond level villain shit here, right? Batman villain shit. Either that or Israel went to him with that proposition. Either way, because he's their boy and they want to give him good optics for the American people. Either way, though, I'm just hoping, less children will be killed. That's really what's fucking important. Maybe something good will come out of it. I'm trying to hold out hope. Because ultimately, even if Trump is the one responsible for it, if good things happen, then that's all that fucking matters. It doesn't matter who fucking did it. If Trump actually does something to make less children be murdered, I will fucking give him all the credit in the world. If this holds, fuck yeah. But of course, they're already asking Joe Biden, hey, who is responsible for this? You or Donald Trump? And to be honest with you, seems a little defensive.
Thank you.
Books credit for this, Mr. President. You or Trump?
Is that a joke? Oh.
No, it's not a joke. You're a joke. Trump's a joke, but that's not a fucking joke. Trump probably more responsible than you are. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene and all the Republicans taking to the airwaves to take credit for it. History! President Trump has ended the war against Israel. The war against Israel. Holy shit. Before he even took the oath of office. Oh my God, he's so good, y'all. In his first term, the world was at peace. He literally increased drone striking 450%. We were fighting the Afghanistan war the entire time. We were in conflicts, military engagements the entire time. But you can't tell American people anything. They don't even have a 4-year memory span, so they don't remember. Just tell them anything. Commander-in-Chief, we can get there again. Thank God President Trump will be back in Oval Office in just a few weeks. Yep, he will be. True story. And I don't blame him for taking credit for it. I'm almost impressed, to be honest with you. Impressed at how well they are at manipulating things to make the guy who probably negotiated for more child murders look like the guy who is stopping child murders. That is just so evil. It's next level type shit. I would admire it if it wasn't incredibly fucking evil. But folks, none of that is goddamn important. What's important is this, the children, and at least for today, these children are celebrating the ceasefire. All they want to do is live, folks. Giving God credit, but not quite yet, because so the hardest part about my job is telling the fucking truth, and the truth is, despite a ceasefire and agreement, Israel have just committed another massacre in the West Bank, folks. Even though they're agreeing to the ceasefire, and both Biden and both Trump are getting out there claiming to be men of peace, claiming to be heroes, claiming to have stopped this massacre, the massacre continues right fucking now. They have killed over 125 children just in the last few days alone, and it's continuing. Abby Martin, Israel is ramping up their killing before the ceasefire takes effect. Reports 30 murdered in just the last hour. Friends in Gaza are elated but also terrified at how many massacres they can commit in the next 3 days. So, this is the bizarro world we live in. You got our president out there bragging his ass off about stopping it while it's fucking happening, and the other orange group doing the same exact thing. But I'll try to have positive thoughts, folks. Maybe this will lead to less people getting murdered. Maybe this will lead to both American, Israeli, and Palestinian prisoners being released. Maybe this is the start of more peace. I'm not that optimistic, but I will try to be.